Cottage and Lakefront Living Show moves into DeVos Place. The show highlighting the cottage and lake home lifestyle many in Michigan are accustomed to. And joining us is Don Baker, the show manager. Don, we appreciate you being here and kind of showing off some things that you brought in from the show. This all starts Friday, so what can we look forward to this week?
This weekend is going to be packed with summer indoors.
Oh,
so
yes,
that's the first thing to know, right? The weather
I
outside
know.
is a little frightful
Well,
right now.
we need a little summer in our lives, given what we
do.
saw on the tower camera this morning. So yeah, no, what can we expect in terms of, vendors there, people there, builders we were chatting about just a few minutes ago. What do you got going on?
I love to think of the show in 4 categories, right? Buy, build, renovate, decorate. So let's just talk about buying. Maybe you're just at the beginning of that dream process. You're kind of thinking, oh, I want a lakefront home, or I want that vacation property. We have realtors on site who can help guide you through that process, can also just show you some properties so that you can kind of begin that.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, you might be looking to buy other things. Maybe it is a boat or a personal watercraft.
Well, think of lakefront living, right?
Yes,
got to think about that.
Exactly. All of the things that you might enjoy, flotation, even if you just like the lake, right? And so you're looking for some new things to just go out in Lake Michigan and play.
Yeah.
We've got those things at the Cottage and Lakefront Living Show. And then building. So I'm going to bridge here. Buy, build. We have a for sale for rent board. So if you're a guest at the show, you could bring your listing and we'll put it up there to share with other guests.
Oh,
Interesting.
Or, we also have a lot of people submit properties, but certainly those on site also give us some things. But it's a great way to kind of overview.
Yeah.
I know for us, we're in that process. We used to have a cabin up north, but now we've moved to, we're renting around the state. There's so many great beach towns to visit.
Which is so fun to do. Yeah, not be locked in one location,
And kinda
get
hop
to experience
around.
everything, but still get that cottage feel.
Right.
So you're buying. Let's go back to buying. It sounds to me like you can go anywhere from small to large in terms of how much money you're spending walking in the door.
Yes. And so you can find that property there, something that's already established, or you can look to build that property. Again, then you've got, all sorts of different plans, but nearly a dozen builders, including one that will have a cabin on site, fully finished and furnished.
Inside DeVos Place.
Yes.
I love it.
So
I love it.
It's just a little bit under 500 square feet, but if that's where you want to start, right, all the way to the lakefront dream home that you might be envisioning, we've got builders there that can kind of talk to you about that. And so that's great. They're all under one roof and there's no pressure. This is just like a really great way to start. But other things that you might want to buy, let's or build, decks, docks, seawalls, right?
Things you don't think about. And when I was thinking about cottage and lakefront living, I'm not thinking about, oh, maybe I do need a new deck, right? Or maybe I do need a seawall of some sort like that. So that's really interesting that that's available there.
Yes, additions, pergolas, all, gazebos, anything that you are looking at and you need to build, we try to bring those people there. And the thing is, when you've got either wooded or maybe it's property on the water, there are some different variables. And so being able to talk to some experts and get some advice even before you make that decision, certainly you can also make the decision and start to schedule that work because summer's coming quick.
Absolutely.
And if you don't get that scheduled, it may not be done in time for whatever special event or family gathering that you're hosting. And
it's such a small window.
Right.
You want to get it done and have it done for all of summer. Would you suggest when people show up, like, okay, let's say you want to get a floating dock right outside your cottage, should they bring all their information along with them, or how far are they able to get in terms of like the planning and the estimation process when they're there?
That's a great question. So photos, as well as anything that they can sketch out and really measure. I mean, all of that information that they can bring, Sam, that helps those who are maybe ready to even get estimates. Now, I can imagine that most of these projects are going to need a site visit, but this is a great way to start and to begin to navigate that. But you can set up the site visit. You're going to have more information to go with. Maybe there's good face-to-face interaction with one company and not with another. Well, you're going to go with who you really felt like they understood what you were saying, they get the vision or the dream, and you want to move forward with that company. So it's a great way to have that face-to-face and really get to understand. With a lot of the things that happen at those special places, whether it is a cottage, a vacation home, a lakefront property, you want trust in the company that you're working with.
You're not always there, you're not always present.
Yes. So that's important, right? That's face to face, and you really need that. But then let's talk about renovations.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, maybe you've already got that dock and lift, but the canvas cover needs to be replaced. I mean,
Sure.
some specific work, maintenance, various services, you can have that done. Or maybe it is renovating a kitchen, a
Well, I was
bathroom.
going to say, like some of these cottages and lakefront homes have been in the family for decades and decades, and you're looking just for a facelift, and that sounds like it's available there.
Or you need some truly foundation leveling, concrete leveling. I mean, there's all sorts of things. Again, you've got some specialized properties, so it's great to be able to talk to those renovators there.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
incredible. So from foundational changes all the way up to maybe getting your
kayak.
cushions reupholstered, a kayak, absolutely.
All of the above.
Wide variety.
I think it's really
Right.
cool. So it's, a lot of times when we go into these shows, there's so much to look at, so many people to go and talk to. It can sometimes be overwhelming. So I guess what would be your recommendation to that first-time person going to the Cottage and Lakefront Living Show? What would you tell them to do? I mean, do they need to have an idea of what they want to see, or do they need to talk to the person at the front desk? You know, what's kind of that first-time goer advice that you would give?
Those are two great points that you've already made, Tanner. So yes, we do have an information space, right? So if you come in and you're like, okay, this is what I'm looking for.
Help.
That's a great place to start,
Yeah.
right? We can highlight some exhibitors for you to see. We can help direct that. But as of today, we're also putting an updated exhibitor list on our website, grcottageshow.com. You want to look at that, right? You already know there's going to be some descriptions there. You've talked about photos and dimensions and that plan. So if you have that information now, yes, go ahead and mark actually the booth numbers where you need to go, because you'll have a printed program if you'd like when you
Yes.
pick up, and then that just makes that much easier when you're navigating the show. But this show, we've also planted some really fun features in various areas that will allow for you to really kind of navigate, take a break, make some notes, maybe talk through some things, and then onward you go. So I love that aspect, that very easily you can come to some of those spaces and kind of digest, if you will, some of what you've heard so far when you're looking at a major or a small purchase, right? I mean, it can be anything that you're trying to decide on. Are we making that today? Are we leaving with something from the show? So we've integrated those spaces and features. So I think that's a really good question, Tanner. And then let's go back really quick. We were talking about renovate, and then we want to hit decorate.
Oh yeah, we got to decorate.
This is kind of included in that, right?
This is a Cottage Lakefront home dream.
Something that
Decorations.
immediately draws my eye is this really cool
It's
live
beautiful.
edge salad bowl.
Gorgeous.
This is so cool, and I'm sure that this place is going to be filled with things like this.
Yes, so there's two things I've brought together to share here, and those features are the cottage art show.
Okay.
And you can see some of those pieces here, down in front, the paddles.
Oh yeah, these are gorgeous, by the way.
they really are.
Beautifully made.
And the artisans will be on site. So what's great is maybe you like this, but you're looking for something a little bit different. Maybe the depth isn't just right for you. You can talk to John about, hey, can you make this for me? They're local Michigan artisans. And so I think that's such a great piece, right?
Well, I was actually going to ask you about that. A lot of times when we get into these shows, 9 times out of 10, we do find out that there are neighbors or somebody down in Kalamazoo or someone on the east side of the state. They are local in-state folks, right?
Yes, and that's what's wonderful about all the exhibitors. You're going to find out where they're from and how long they've been in businesses and you know, they're specialists. And that's the same even for the Lakefront Marketplace. So that's not something that's considered art necessarily, but Polish pottery. A lot of us are drawn to color and vibrancy
So
in our
beautifully
cottage
done,
decor,
too.
right? So there's that. Or maybe you love specialty food. You're thinking about all the friends, the family that you gather with. Okay, specialty foods. Or maybe it's just really unique Michigan pieces.
Right.
I
You've got
mean,
Mother's Day coming
Right,
up. Looking for
Great
gifts.
Lakes,
That
you
cap
know.
right
Oh, I
there.
love that. Yes.
Love it.
Or again, locally grown and then
sourced.
created products. This is a company out of Rockford,
Oh,
right?
so nice.
It's just a phenomenal way, again, to meet your neighbors and to be able to really do business, if you will, with those that are local.
It's so
and
cool.
support them.
We have about 20 seconds left. What is the information that I need to buy a ticket? What days and times are you guys available, and where can I go to buy those tickets?
So grcottageshow.com, And it helps with parking. So you're going to get your tickets, you're going to find out some parking options downtown Grand Rapids. You want to know that.
Yep.
And then your exhibitors list is there. We didn't even get through and touch on many features. So that's all there. You might want to pick up, you know, the dock party or when's this happening, when's that happening. All of that is listed at grcottageshow.com.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh, it
Friday
sounds like a blast.
this weekend. It looks like we're rounding out show span season, but you know, it's been a really nice season to kind of get to see all of the different things you guys offer. And of course, Friday is your last chance with the Cottage Lakefront Living Show. Thank you so much, Dawn, for being in
Yeah,
studio.
thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
See you at the beach.